And we are back into game two here between Prismatic Esports and SFAD, and they're going to be switching sides here this time. It's going to be SFAD on the blue side, and it's going to be Prismatic on the red side here this game. We are also getting a bit of a positional swap here. Just Storming going back to the top lane for Prismatic, and True Hero going to head into the jungle instead for game two here. Once again, I'm Random Minion Caster, and alongside me for game two is still Adorit Luna. So, Luna, how are you feeling after that game one?
Uh, Anxious, very excited. Uh, I'm a storm of emotion right now.
I mean, yeah, it was a really exciting game one for sure here. So game two probably going to bring us more of the same, and they're going to start up their picks and bans here. SFAD on the blue side going to get first ban, and they're going to hover the Darius here against Just Storming. That is one of Just Storming's most played champions by a long shot, but he didn't play it last week even when it was open. So interesting choice here, and we'll have to see if it really affects Just Storming at all, as it is going to be the confirmed first ban. On the other side, Prismatic going to ban out that Yuumi once again. They don't want to let Heal Slowat get her hands on that champion.
That's a good call. We've seen what she can do on Yuumi. It's not fun. It is downright terrifying.
For sure, it can be absolutely nasty, and it depends on her ADC a lot as well. And actually, there has been another swap. The ADC here from the side of SFAD is going to be Rukter, one of the players from the spring split. So they've swapped out Piss Tank here for Rukter. So definitely a really solid call there. The bans coming out from SFAD is going to be the Anivia, and Prismatic going to ban out the Aphelios, targeting Rukter there.
Wow. That's definitely a chart of events. Welcome back, Rooker.
Yeah, definitely caught me a little bit by surprise there too. Was not expecting Rukter to sub back in. And actually the Aphelios ban, I'm not sure it's a worthwhile ban against Rukter, because Rukter not known to play a lot of Aphelios for himself. So interesting ban there. And the rest of the ban is going to be the Pike once again for SFAD, targeting out Dark Prince. And Prismatic going to ban out the the Scarlet this time. Did not like what came out of Shapiro last game. Despite Shapiro not putting up the highest numbers, not necessarily having the biggest influence, they just don't want to pay that QSS tax. And I guess they're just not used to playing against a Skarner in that top lane. And first pick from SF80 gonna be that Galio in the mid lane for Cass.
Yeah, it's I definitely like the call to ban the Skarner because it did open up a lot of opportunities for SFAD, and it was definitely it was more tanky than it appeared to be, just from what we saw in the stats at the end game.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to see what he goes with now that the Skarner there is banned for him. That being said, so far his other picks still open, so he can definitely pick something in round one, or he might hold off till round two once again. He will not have counter pick chance this time, as it is going to be Prismatic with the last pick. And Prismatic's first two picks are going to be the Set and the Thresh, potentially once again for Mickey Mouse. Not a common mid lane pick that we see a lot of, but it worked really well for Mickey Mouse in that last game. And Dark Prince gonna go on that Thresh. I guess he thought the Nautilus perhaps wasn't as effective as he'd have liked.
Uh, I can agree with that, just because there were times in that game where it would have been better to be the Nautilus, like being able to get off the Nautilus or ults, and just being able to provide the slows from Riptide. But at the same time, there's a lot of times where he hit a hook, and it's not necessarily one that you would actually want to go in on. Whereas if you're Thresh and you hit that hook, you don't have to go in if you don't want to. You can just kind of drag them away some. So I like the swap. I think it's a good call.
For sure. And now the rest of the picks coming out is going to be Lux and Senna here for SFAG. So that could potentially be a bot lane. Rukter does play Senna. So it could potentially be a Senna Lux bot lane. And on the other side here, Prismatic going to pick Kaisa out to round their bot lane out. So assuming it's a Lux Senna bot lane, do you think Who do you think has the winning laning bot lane here?
Well, see, that opens up a lot of possibilities, right? Because I mean, there is a Galio, right? So what if it's Lux mid with Ruptor on Galio and Heal Slut on the Senna? I'm not sure if she's very versed in Senna or not, but that is a very good possibility.
Yeah, it could be, and there's still two more picks. So, and Senna being as versatile as she is, could really go anywhere here. Now we do see the bans coming out. Prismatic gonna ban out the Mordekaiser, so they're gonna continue keeping that ban on Shapiro there. They don't want to see it come out. I guess they don't really have a proper answer to it. And on SFAD side, they're gonna ban the Echo out here. And for Prismatic, I don't believe Mickey Mouse really plays the Echo, so it looks like it's going to be targeted more at the jungler, at True Hero here in the jungle to prevent him from getting the Echo. And they're going to ban the Garen out as well. That is targeted at Just Storming. So Just Storming going to have two bans targeted at him, but he has a deep enough champion pool. We saw a lot of other champions like the Tom Kench, like the Kale coming up from him last week. So we might see that again, because I hope we do, because I love to see these unorthodox top lane picks. But instead, it looks like he's gonna go potentially with that Shen pick, which is a very solid pick. Will complement this team.
I agree. Shin ult being able to not only get him to where he needs to be while keeping a teleport back as an option, but it's a very nice shield. And with Shin being able to do that, just show up out of nowhere and go in with the taunt to help secure a kill can be huge.
Yeah, but on the side of SFAD, they're gonna go with Volibear and Singe. I am so excited here. We saw a Singe last week as well, and I can't quite remember which team it was on. I want to say it was on DOV Chaos, but I can't remember. But I'm just excited to see a Singe here and Volibear starting to make its presence felt here in the league. Really strong jungler, the ultimate Stormbringer, allowing the Volibear to just dive under turrets, a mini Ohm Wrecker ability there. And for the side of True Hero, he's going to pick a Jarvan for his team. So now that we've seen the compositions from both teams, what do you think, Luna, here? Who do you think's got the advantage coming out of this pick and bans?
This time around, I think I'm going to give it to SFAD. I feel like their team comp meshes a lot better than Prismatic because this time, like Prismatic, like they still have the set which was really good last game until it wasn't when Mick Mouse kept getting caught out. And an issue is he might accidentally pull the wrong target out of a J4 catapult, which could be devastating. Whereas with SFAD, their team comp, they have a ton of chain CC. They have a lot of slows, and they have a lot of burst damage. I mean, just like they have the best of all worlds. They have tank, burst damage, sustain damage. Like, what more could you want from that comp?
Yeah, that is definitely true. So, looks like they've won out in composition here. But then again, with SF80, it's never been about the comp. Whether they dropped a good comp or not tends not to matter with them as well. So, like you said at the end of the last game, it's going to come down a lot to whether Prismatic can reset their mental and sort of rebound here, because they definitely have the mechanical skill. I think we saw that in game one, that they were going head to head, they were winning, and it was more just getting caught out that was the issue instead.
Right. Which, with that being said, that makes me not like the Kaisa pick because Kaisa can put herself in a very dangerous spot without meaning to if she's not careful.
Yeah, but she could also get herself out of dangerous spots. So we'll really just have to see which way that sort of goes. And one other thing to note was also that just storming in the jungle was the one to often engage for Prismatic almost recklessly there. So now that he's on the top lane, on that Shen, we'll have more gold and will hopefully be tankier here on Shen. Uh, do you think that's going to make a difference here in game two?
I think it'll be a lot more interesting because there were times where True Hero was also a main engage for Prismatic last game. So I think with him being on the J4, it still fits his playstyle. So it could still work out very well. And because Shin has his ult to be able to just really get to someone if they need him, I definitely think that that fits his playstyle a lot as well. Just because, like, as we saw last game, a fight would be going one way for SFAD, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just Storm pops up with the cane and secures a double. So in this case, he's going to be able to teleport in with the Shin ult, go in, hit the taunt, and ideally get a couple assists for his team while getting his other carries fed.
Right. So definitely will be very different if he does decide to be that initiating or get into the thick of the fight, like you were saying. Will will have that survivability and that utility much more than just burst. And I know you touched a bit on this when you're talking about the compositions as well, but what do you think are the keys to winning here for each of the teams? Like, who do you expect is going to be the win condition? Which lanes do they need to get ahead?
Right now, I definitely feel like for SFAD, it's going to be your bot lane because their other option, I mean, it could be Finny on the Volibear just because AP Volibear is surprisingly really strong right now. But Galio, like, while Galio is strong, I don't really see Galio or Singed as being a hard carry option. So for SFAD, it's definitely going to be either through Finny on the Volibear or through their bot lane with Rookter and Heal. Whereas with Prismatic, you still have Set in the mid lane because we saw the Set put out a lot of damage and turn a lot of fights last game as well. And Kaisa on so annoying on the Kaisa. I mean, Kaisa is one of the strongest ADCs currently as well. Once she gets her item spikes, so if she can get ahead early, then it could be very easy for Prismatic to be able to open this game up, especially with Senna being more of a scaling champion.
For sure. So it sounds like a lot of attention here from both teams will have to be paid to that bot lane here between So Amusing and Rookter as well. So we'll have to see how that one goes here. And if it does end up being Finny with the carry, he's certainly more than capable of doing that, as we've seen last game on that Kindred. Highest damage taken as well as dealt, loving to get into those fights there and do the damage. So will definitely possibly be the viable option. And with that, we are going to head into the intermission break here while the spectator delay continues to count down. So next time we see y'all, we'll be on Summoner's Rift. Stick around. We'll see you in a minute. And we're back onto the Summer's Rift, everyone. Welcome back, and it's SFAD versus Prismatic Esports. SFAD on the blue side, Prismatic on the red side here. The game score currently 1-0 in favor of SFAD, so they're looking to close out this best of 3 here, while Prismatic has their backs against a wall, looking to try and survive and drag it to a game 3 here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Prismatic was able to reset their mental, or if it's just going to be a one-sided game for SFAD.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for the latter, because if this game is anything like game 1, it's going to be one hell of a ride. And if we get a full 3-game series, that's going to be absolutely nuts.
Agreed.
Now we do see the side of SFAD just aggressively going in, getting a ward down there. They sent all 3 of their tanky members to get a ward in, so they weren't afraid of being collapsed on there. Their bot side being watched by Rookter and Heal Slowat will ensure that Dark Prince and So Amusing did not get the chance to return the favor and get themselves a deep ward there. So they should be able to spot out where True Hero decides to start in the jungle this game.
Right. And this time around, I'm actually a little surprised that SFAD didn't go for a potential invade option, because, I mean, they have a Volibear, they have a Galio, the Senna Lux combo. I mean, that's a lot of damage, a lot of CC. It could have been an easy couple of kills.
For sure, and I think a lot of it does also come down to player preference. As far as I'm aware, Rookter generally doesn't like things which introduce random chance into the early game, so generally doesn't favor invades unless he's very, very sure that they should come out ahead in these fights. And
that's a fair point.
Shapiro just taking a beating right now from just storming early. That Singe not doing well. Really squishy at level 1 here, just leaving the poison trail down. And the grasp actually from just storming also doing quite a bit of damage in these extended fights for now. But Shapiro is level 2. The Conqueror stacks are starting to stack up. He's got all 10 and he is able to heal up a little bit, starting to apply a bit more damage. Bot lane, Dark Prince not going to land the death sentence, and now he's going to be in a really awkward spot here. Has to take the long way back to his lane as he gets zoned up by Rookter and heals Slowat.
Yeah, and that's definitely very crucial in the early parts of the game. Oh,
top lane, Shapiro getting really low. The minions are outputting the damage, but just able to walk out barely. Will hit level 3. That will give him a bit of health, but he's going to base on this. He's not going to stick around because he might not survive the next taunt there.
Yeah, that's definitely a very safe call to go ahead and just dip out while he's got the chance to.
For sure. And one thing I'd actually like to point out as well in this bot lane with Rookter on the Senna, there has been a shift in the meta. We used to see Glacial Augment all the time, and actually hold my beer for a second, because Rookter just walked straight into True Hero. Will use both flash and heal. The death sentence just barely missing, meaning that Rookter will be able to get out alive, and Prismatic gonna miss their opportunity to pick up first blood here. SFAD firing back as now Finny coming out of the jungle. There's an angry bear and he's looking for that Kaiser. So Amusing did have to use the flash earlier and the heal gonna go down. Dark Prince did as well. That's gonna be 2 kills going the way of SFAD. A beautiful counter gank coming out of Finny there to get his team an early lead.
Angry bear is right. Jesus. Man, he just went. That was a beautiful engage with the flash into the Volibear stun.
Yeah, and there's nothing really you could do right there. All the summoners were already blown out from So Amusing, looking for that kill, and just not knowing how much damage they can put out just cost so much there in the bot lane. That's going to be a huge advantage. And I actually really like the fact that Heal Slowat was the one who got a kill rather than Rookter, because when we've seen Heal Slowat get leads on these sort of caster supports, like not enchanter supports, not like Janna or Soraka, but things more like Nami, Lux, I'm trying to think who else she plays, Yumi. She actually applies a lot of pressure there in lane, so I think her getting the kill actually makes Rookter's life that much easier farming up the lane.
Oh, for sure. Like, especially on those caster types that she is known for playing, just being able to apply that pressure and put out that burst while being able to keep how do I want to word this? She's able to keep a very secure dominance over the lane and pretty much let Rookter free farm and set up kills for Rookter or herself, depending on how the lane is currently set up.
Yeah, and the only problem with that, though, is that Rookter is going past Senna, so isn't going to be looking to farm CS here. That's the only flaw with all the analysis we just pulled there. So it still will be good for Heal Silhouette, and we'll have to see how that lane turns out. She has managed to pick herself up a really early Lost Chapter as well, so we'll have a ton of mana sustain in lane, and I just feel like it's going to be really tough for So Amusing and Dark Prince there. Top lane, Shapiro and Storming just going to trade a little bit more. Shapiro keeps seeming to get the worst of these trades. Did pick himself up a Corrupting Potion as well. And he might go down here. He's running, and Just Storming has to be careful of rule number 1. Do not chase a Singe. Is spacing himself out. Is going to take quite a bit of minion damage, though. And his flash is down. Now we see the Ghost coming out from Shapiro. He gets the flip. That pulls Just Storming out of the Shen safety zone there. And True Hero now looking. The Flag and Drag already used. Still has the flash available. But will he want to do it? He's going in. Will be able to pick it up in the flash to get himself out of turret range. Safe as True Hero manages to pick up the kill. Finny, though, he did this game 1 too. It's like he's got some sort of sense. Does manage to pick the dragon up, but bot lane. Dark Prince is in danger. Stepped out a little bit too far once again. We're going to see the Stand United come across from Just Storming to keep him alive. But they all have to be careful. Just Storming still low from that last fight. Might not want this. Now Mickey Mouse roaming down. It's a party in the bot lane. Everybody but True Hero there. We do see the teleport coming out from Cassidy. He's going to hold the heroic entrance for now. Will go in, and that's a lot of damage with the shield from Mickey Mouse. Did you see that gray health? That was a solid unit of shielding there. And now Finny in the back, gonna Stormbringer in. He doesn't stop the turret. There's no Omracker passive, but he still managed to pick up the kill. The showstopper coming out though from Mickey Mouse. Will picking up a double kill as he finds both Finny and Cassidy. And meanwhile, we do see yet another kill. This time it's gonna be the red buff, able to find itself first blood onto True Hero there for the map. Well played from the red buff.
Wow. Congratulations, red buff. You've earned the participation award. You get nothing. Have a good day. Okay. As for that fight bot lane, that was a massacre. Like, I'm at a loss for words. That was just outstanding to watch.
Yeah, and somehow, So Amusing, Dark Prince, Rookter, and Hyosla, the original participants of the fight, all survived. It was just Mickey Mouse and Just Storming and Finny and Cassidy. It's like all the people who joined in at the end were the ones really getting the bulk of the action here. Now Shapiro top lane doing the proxy singe.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Especially because,
and this is why you wouldn't, because he's up against a J4 with no flash. True Hero showing up, gets the Cataclysm down, and Shapiro left to just run circles in the little playpen there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bad time. Oof, big oof.
Big oof indeed. True Hero will be more than happy to be able to pick something else up. Trying to redeem himself after dying to the red buff there. Is participating a lot in that top side, but the objectives right now are all going SFAD's way. Finny able to pick himself up the second objective, the Herald here. In the top side now, going for Mickey Mouse in that mid lane, will get damage down, but doesn't get the stun. And look at the burst coming out of both of them there. They almost take Mickey Mouse down, but there's no ignite, so he's going to be able to walk away with just that little bit of health. Rookter going to use the Senna ultimate, will not find anybody, and Shapiro going to go down once again in that top lane right now. He's going the real revival proxy singe here. Is going to go die quite a few times, does not care. They're going to drop Shelly in the mid lane as well, get some plates for themselves. Only going to be that one plate remaining in that mid turret. They just need a little bit more to get the shred off, and will they do it? Yes, they do. Have to be careful though, taking some turret shots for themselves there.
Yeah, right now SFAD, they're playing extremely aggressive. Like, I think this is one of the first times I've seen them so aggressive while we're still technically in the laning phase. On top of being able to get major objectives like a dragon and a rift girl.
Yeah, and this is more of what I guess we expected to see from SFAD. This sort of this constant aggression and just outright dominating the lanes. But Prismatic just firing back every time SFAD steps up. So does Prismatic, and that's why we're seeing these trades go across right now. Of course, that's not including Shapiro in that top lane, who's struggling like crazy right now and feeding kills over. But he is keeping even in CS, and it is a valid tactic with Singes to keep on feeding. Now Death Sentence gonna land onto Rukter, and this is absolutely massive if his team can follow up, but So Amusing is stuck under his turret, and Churiro is basing. That's gonna force Dark Prince to flash himself to safety. What a waste on what looked like such an initial good engage in the bot lane there.
Yeah, it was definitely a very clean start, but it definitely ended very horribly, especially with Finny showing up.
And now they're gonna have to use the Stand United on to True Hero there, because he got really, really low. Finny just hunting True Hero down in the jungle. That bear is marking its territory. The Stand United did get interrupted though, but the shield was enough to keep True Hero alive. And it looks like SFAD, led by Finny, gonna continue their focus on objectives, look to pick themselves up their second Drake, Cloud Drake, on this game.
So right now, especially if you're Shapiro, you're definitely wanting this last dragon to be an ocean drake. But it looks like, unfortunately for them, it is a mountain.
And it might not be necessarily the best Drake for them, but still going to be pretty good. Now Finny in the mid lane going in, might regret this a little bit. He thought he was going to find a Mickey Mouse, but Trio shows up. The Showstopper going to drag Finny out of the Cataclysm, but it will not be enough to keep him alive. Mickey Mouse able to just punch him down. He'll slow what now, trying to survive. Will also fail as the heroic entrance comes across. Cassidy going to be able to find True Hero at least to try and return some kills here. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, but mid lane going to be pressured up. Rukter showing up now will just help to try and clear this wave out and stop the push coming out of Prismatic for now.
Yeah, very strong showing from Prismatic. It's definitely very key for them to be able to try to keep Heal and Finny down when they can. And if they get a chance to, also keep Rooker down, because, you know, as we were stating earlier, Senna being one of the scaling champions of the game, that if you just leave her alone to get those souls, she's just going to become a monster in her own right, without having to do much.
For sure, and so far she's been able to do quite well for herself. Already 48 souls here at 12, just under 13 minutes in this game, so going at a pretty decent clip for himself, and is able to output the damage. We see him do quite well. Now top lane, Shapiro. I don't think there's a point really watching this top lane right now unless we see a gank, because Shapiro, despite having died quite a bit, seems to know the limits of the champion quite well. And as I say that though, he takes a whole ton of minion damage, and a flash from Just Storming going to be able to pick up a free kill onto Shapiro. He's now 0-4-0, just 6 more deaths away from getting that 0-10 power spike here.
Oh man, that's the dream if you're Singed, right?
Yep, Singed and Yasuo is their hidden passive. Hit 0-10 and they win the game. Finny now running down into the mid lane. That's a charging bear. And he's going to look for Dark Prince. Going to Stormbringer over the wall. Almost going to find him, but a good play from Dark Prince to buy some time. Can he get away? The boots of mobility will be triggered. He's going to get to the blast cone and be able to get himself out to safety. Top lane, Shapiro taking turret shots. I feel like a lot of the damage Shapiro takes isn't even coming from just Storming. It's coming from turrets and minions.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But it looks like Shapiro is in the process of building the standard.
But hold up for a second, because Mickey Mouse has started the fight with a Showstopper. A beautiful Cataclysm to follow up, and it's going to be a 2v3 as the heroic entrance comes down. Cassie just getting absolutely shredded here. Mickey Mouse, shield after shield. It's going to be True Hero going down, but for a triple kill, for 4 kills, definitely worth. Mickey Mouse able to find 3 of those, and Mickey Mouse just popping off this game. He did well last game, but this game he's going phenomenally for him. He's 7-0-1 right now this game.
Yeah, right now. Oh no.
And Shapiro getting caught spacing is going to feed yet another kill. 0 and 5. He's halfway there, ladies and gents. Might actually hit that 0 and 10. And this game's a very different beast from game 1 here. Prismatic just popping off and taking over.
Yeah, like right now, if you're Prismatic, you're looking at Mickey Mouse and you're like, yes, sir. We are here. We're going to keep you alive. Right now, you're the president.
And yet, despite that, somehow SFAD still in the gold lead here, 6-13. Somehow, they're just finding gold leads, and I think a lot of that is just off the plates and the turrets. They managed to get 2 turrets for themselves compared to Prismatic's only 1 turret. They've opened up most of the map as well. So despite having a feeding top laner and having Mickey be 7-0 and 1, they're still in a decent position and can continue to look to pressure here.
Right. I mean, like, just looking at gold, or just looking like creep scores, if you look at the jungle difference, Finny's got almost, what, 35 gold over True Hero? Or 35 minions.
Oh, but Rukter and Healslot gonna get caught out here. They get Cataclysm, but the heroic entrance means that it wasn't them getting boxed in with True Hero, it's True Hero getting boxed in with them. Now just storming, throwing down the Stand United. Will join the fight, but it's going to be too late for True Hero and Dark Princess. Both of them go down. Now Mickey Mouse has to be careful. He's got a 500 gold bounty, and he's getting collapsed on here. Will be able to pop that beautiful shield, but he won't be able to get much of that true damage down. Finny going a little bit too deep as he gets dragged into the enemy team by a showstopper. Will go down, and it's ultimately looking like it's a bit of a 2-for-1 trade in favor of SFAD. Healslot just completely left that fight there, opting to go up and help Shapiro extend that lane to give him more free reign, able to just keep running around, but he has to be careful because she's running straight into an angry Shen. Not quite as scary as an angry bear, but a ninja can do a lot of damage, and Healslot going to be brought really, really low. They're going to disengage because he knew he had no backup coming. The rest of his team going to be able to pick up the 3rd Drake for themselves, and it's going to be their first Drake for Prismatic. It's going to be mounted Drake. If they can keep stacking that, they might actually get real tanky here, but Rukter has to be careful. That's not a Glacial Augment Senna. That's a Grasp of the Undying Senna, so does not have the slows there to stop Mickey Mouse from engaging. Will be able to root him up though, so will be safe.
And while it is a Grasp of the Undying Senna, Rukter was still able to bring Mickey Mouse down to about half health.
Yeah, so even though he's up a ton of gold right now and kills, he's not really that tanky yet. Is opting to build a lot more damage items. The Blade of the Ruin King picked up a Phage and Executioner's Calling as well. That's going to be another turret going down. Looks like on the side of the bot lane for SFAD. So Prismatic going to be able to pick themselves up another turret at least. But SFAD going to go straight for that Herald. But has to be careful though. True Hero is in there looking for the smite. Can he get it? No, he can't. SFAD going to be able to pick that up. And True Hero going to flash out there, leaving Just Storming behind. A good lantern though will see him to safety. They do manage to tag Cassidy, but so amusing. Not going to dive in there because his entire team will not be able to join him, and he have found himself in the midst of SFAD. Good attempt by True Hero, but better pickup from SFAD onto Shelly there.
Right, and I don't know. It's definitely refreshing to see Finny be so objective focused, because as you said last game, generally he's not. He's more about, you know, getting kills and getting his laners ahead. So it's definitely nice to see the switch up, and it just goes to show how much more experienced he is.
For sure, knowing that he doesn't have as strong lanes this game, knowing that his mid is losing, his top is losing, he's opting to go for those objectives that benefits the entire team, to keep them in the game, to find them those leads that will extend into the late game once they skill themselves up here. So really good adaptation coming out of Finny here. But really good ganks coming out from True Hero as well. He has been able to find his way into the backline, onto Rukter, and onto Hyo Slawat, and once again in that top lane. This time Shapiro does have the Rylai's at least, so should be able to run away as long as he's careful. But he does have to be careful because Dark Prince is coming up, does have the Moby boots, and will look like he'll be able to find Shapiro here. The death sentence comes out just whiffing slightly, and that's going to be flashed down from Dark Prince. Now Mickey Mouse, the target here, he's flashing himself out, but will it be enough? Maybe not, but the showstopper certainly will be helpful. Finny going in here, and Mickey Mouse doesn't have the shield. They get the shutdown. That's going to go Finny's way. Cassidy picking up True Hero now, and So Amusing has to be careful. He's going to dive back in, but only to find himself dead there. That's suddenly 3-0 out of nowhere in favor of SFAD, and it looks like game 1 all over again.
And they were able to get the pick here on the turret before Shelly went and charged. So that's huge.
Yeah, that saving Shelly gets themselves the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor in the mid lane, and they've cracked those tough turrets. Can Shelly get another charge onto the Nexus turrets? Because that would be absolutely massive here. And he does. Look at those Nexus turret almost down in one charge, and the fight continues as True Hero going in. Rukter not getting out in time. Will find himself in the Cataclysm. Will flash dodging the death sentence, but he flashed sideways, and that did not get him to safety. He's going to go down. His bounty going the way of True Hero, and Prismatic will not go quietly into the night. They will fire back and look to find some way of making sure that they can try and win this game here.
Right, and thinking about the Singe pick, it's even a lot stronger than originally anticipated just because of that puddle. Because that stops the Kaiser from being able to dash in. It stops Thresh from being able to use his hook to get in. It stops Shin from dashing. It stops J4 from jumping in. And it stops Set from jumping in on a showstopper. It can literally be used on every member of Prismatic.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that Singe pick come online right now as well. You can see right there, with just the Rylai's alone, he can drag people around the map for days. So Amusing and Just Storming, neither of them able to really gap close onto that. And that's even without the glue puddle that you were talking about, just off the Rylai's alone. And it looks like SFAD gonna set themselves up here for yet another dragon, gonna put themselves at Soul Point, and just from objectives they're going to be able to control the map a lot stronger here, because now the next Baron, if they don't get Baron before the next dragon spawns, they will have the ability to decide which objective they want to go for here and drag Prismatic, force them to respond to where SFAD wants to go.
Right, so like right now I'm wondering what's going to be the call from SFAD? Are they going to try to start grouping up as 5 since Singe is starting to come more online and be able to help more with the team fights and disrupt things? Or will they just keep going with the 4-1 and maybe start sending Singe bot lane? Or have him keep going top?
Yeah, I really don't know what SFAD would want to do here, and the other problem is I'm not sure SFAD knows what they want to do either, because usually they just go for kills and pressure. And you can see Finny right now split up from the rest of the team. It's a bit of a 3-1 split push, and Finny is just meandering his way through the jungle. It's really scary when an angry bear comes at you out of the jungle, but if he's never with the team, that's an issue too. See Hyo Slawat able to steal the Gromp there, but True Hero looking for the engage, will get the flag and drag, has not been able to Cataclysm yet, and will go down right after he puts that down. His team though able to find Cassidy and Rukter in the backline, but the angry bear just putting out damage. The CC lock is good. Dark Prince with a beautiful stopwatch to keep himself alive there. And so Finny diving in will not find anything here. He's going to trade his life over. It's going to be a 3-for-2 in favor of Prismatic. Meanwhile, though, Shapiro on that Singe gonna continue split pushing. And it looks like he's just going to opt to do that all game long here and just force Just Storming to have to use his teleport to try and match every time a team fight breaks out.
Right. And that was definitely a very good team fight by Prismatic, able to pick up a lot of gold that they're desperately needing, especially with their front gates being cracked open like it is right now.
Yeah, and this is why I was saying that I'm not sure SFAD knows what they want to do. Either the teleport was not available on Shapiro, so they knew that if they decided to fight that, it was going to be a 4v5 with the Stand United available on Just Storming. Not to mention, I don't think Just Storming was even in the top lane at that point in time, so there was no way to stop that. It was definitely going to be a 4v5, and yet they stuck around despite having vision of True Hero and Mickey Mouse on the side there. So, yeah, it's really hard for me to try and say what these teams are gonna do next. I guess we just have to strap in and enjoy the ride at this point.
Right, like right now, ideally, if you're SFAD, you would really want Singe to be bot side and have your other 4 be top side, so you can play around that Baron and maybe look to take it or at least contest it if Prismatic decide they want to try to sneak it away from them.
Instead, it looks like Finny's just going to go in, look for a pick. The heroic entrance comes in. They will find True Hero, and True Hero is going to be brought really low before the fight even starts here. But it's Mickey Mouse who might be the first one going down. Will have to flash himself to safety, and they're looking really split as Just Storming on the backline once again, getting the damage down. And they might be able to find Shapiro here. Stormbringer comes down, but it's going to be Heal Slowat finding True Hero, and somehow Shapiro is still alive in the midst of all of this. They do take Just Storming down. Mickey Mouse next to go, and So Amusing trying to fire will finally take Shapiro down, but it might be too little too late here as the Winds of War able to get the ace for himself there. They will fire back. That's going to be a double kill, but this might be the game because Rookter is alive. Finny there with the tag. The minions are going to push down the mid lane. They already have the mid inhibitor cracked. They're going to take the inhibitor down now. But that's a Senna. She's so slow with the auto attacks, and it looks like Prismatic going to respawn before they can take down both the Nexus turrets here. They already have True Hero back up for themselves, and be it Just Storming or True Hero, both of them for the side of Prismatic seem to have trouble staying alive after the initiates of these fights here.
Yeah, it's definitely true because it's really odd because I'm not sure if either they just try to go in at the wrong time and get picked out, or if they're just trying to ward and all of a sudden SFAD shows up and they just get naturally picked out on accident.
Yeah, either way though, it's not boding well for them in these later game engages, because if they go down too early, it becomes a 4v5, and we've already seen at this point in the game, going down means your base will probably get cracked. Now the Mountain Drake will be coming up in about 5 seconds here. This will be Soul Drake for the side of SFAD if they can get it. And Just Storming somehow, and True Hero somehow into the back line right here. Mickey Mouse trying to tank up Finny and Shapiro as well as Rookter, and the fight is very split, but they do take Finny down in the beginning of the fight, and this could be massive for the side of Prismatic. They find Shapiro as well. The tanky Singe will not be enough. A heal to keep Mickey Mouse alive, and that's a 2 for 0 right now in favor of Prismatic Esports, but they are all very, very low, and Cassidy, Rookter both full health here. It's not quite as even as it looks. The death sentence misses, and that might be the death of Dark Prince. True Hero initiating into the backline will go on to heal Slowat, but a beautiful stopwatch. And once more, she's somehow still alive. Will go down to Dark Prince. Supporto combat here, and he wins. True Hero still alive through the Ignite, and they're gonna be able to ace SFAD. These fights are so chaotic. Where's the front line? Where's the back line? You can't even tell, and this will be Dragon going over to Prismatic. They're getting themselves back into the game. Still down about 2,000 gold, but that's a solid ace, and that could maybe be Baron. We'll have to see, because Finny and Shapiro are already back, and Mickey Mouse had to run back to base to defend this exposed Nexus here on their side of the map.
Yeah, it definitely looks like your brethren was able to chalk up a free turret for SFAD there.
Yeah, you just can't leave the minions unattended. They will do work, especially with no turrets around and supers pushing in the mid wave there. So, yeah, Prismatic forced to back off, and despite getting the win in that team fight there, they won't be able to get themselves any turrets or Baron. Just the consolation prize of yet another Mountain Drake.
Right, which, just with how that fight went, that's definitely showing that Prismatic themselves are starting to come online, not necessarily because of how much damage they can put out, but how much damage they can soak, because they are a very tanky team, and they were able to withstand most of that damage.
Yeah, now imagine them with 2 more Mountain Drakes and a shield on top of that. They can become an absolute menace there. And the way they just picked Finny off in that fight was critical. Going forward, that might have to be what they continue doing. But the problem is Finny is a tank. He's built himself a Righteous Glory at Dead Man's Plate. Now he's running Dead Prince down. He's well ahead of his team, but that should be Dead Prince getting popped by the Lux ultimate there, doing lots of damage. Now Mickey Mouse into the backline, but he's on his own. He's 1v5ing. Will not be able to survive despite the shield after shield. Stand United will buy him a bit more time, but that's all it's going to do is just buy a bit more time. And with this, SFAD can just potentially push into the base here. They've got the exposed Nexus. They've got themselves supers. One last defense here from Prismatic. We do see Jet Storming going in. Shapiro going to take a lot of damage, but he's going to focus the turret. He's got priorities. Will get popped by So Amusing. And the damage coming out So Amusing right now, will it be enough? This is a very, very angry boy. She's got a double kill. Can she get the Penta? The Penta skins is available, but Finny doing work. He's focused on objectives. He gets the Nexus. It's the backdoor from Finny to win the game here. Well played. The man is focused on objectives. He got the Dragons, he got the Heralds, and now he got the Nexus while the rest of his team was focused on trying to get kills. And with that, SFAD gonna win this series here, 2-0.
Very, very clean. The distraction tactics were a go, and they worked extremely well. Very well played.
Yeah, I did not expect it to end that way. I was still hoping for another Penta coming out there. No team so far on Friday nights have managed to get themselves a Penta kill. So unfortunate there that we don't see the Penta skin tonight.
Yep, sorry, chat. It was a good try though. I think the most we saw that game in the series was a triple at some point.
Let's see here. The kills. Pardon. Where on earth is it here? Kills.
I'm not sure if it actually shows like.
Oh, largest mousy kill. There we go. Yeah, it was a triple kill on Mickey here.
So and, that last team fight was just outstanding, especially from Shapiro. Like you said, it's just like he's just gonna farm all game. It's fine. Then all of a sudden, in that last fight, you just see him blazing through the jungle at high speed. Just like, hey guys, don't mind me. I'm just gonna spread this gas everywhere.
And if we look at the damage done to turrets there, Finny actually the lowest in the game, but he was the one who took down the Nexus, and that's what's important because it's Nexus that wins games here.
Very true.
So well played to SFAD, and with that, we are going to set up now for the post-game interviews. Just give us a minute or two here. We're going to hop over quickly to the intermission while we set that up, and when we come back, we will have some players from SFAD with us. So stick around, and we'll see you all soon.
games to send to you.
And welcome back, everyone. We're here with our winners, SFAD, and with us we have Finny as well as Heel Slowat. How are you guys doing?
We're feeling pretty good. It's good to be back on a team coming for that chip again.
Number 2.
For sure, the return of the Kings, and you guys seem to still have it in you all. You guys played last week for another team, I believe it was Imagine Wagons. Is that right?
Sorry. Imagine putting me ADC when I wanted to do jungle, but you know.
Yeah, they ended up e-subbing me in last week, but no, this is my home.
There's a lot of problems. And then, like they made me go ADC, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to ADC anymore. So I'm like, you know what? Time to get the boys back in town.
And the boys are back for sure, with a little bit of a different roster this time. Bringing in some new people, some new blood.
Yeah, it seemed to have worked out for you guys. Still the same old chaotic see hero, kill hero mentality. I see both these games. Fairly high kill counts for you guys. Are you guys still going with the no practice and just winging it strategy that you guys ran with in the swing split?
You never know. Honestly, again, this is a team that's made out of friendships. I ended up bringing in my two friends that I met probably a month and a half ago, I think it is now. I brought in our top laner Shapiro and our other ADC, Canna's Piss Tank. And being able to play with them, they watched the Coalition finals when we played, back when our name was Raw Rampage, from that first season, and they kind of expressed an interest in me, like, oh, it looks like it could be fun, and it was nice to get them in, and they seem to be enjoying it, and we all mesh pretty well together.
Yeah, I'm glad it's worked for you guys so far. Now, with your games tonight against Prismatic, what were your thoughts after playing these two games here?
I feel like this division's free.
I have two people that I have been around before or played on a team with before a decent amount, and it was nice to play against them, and I feel like I showed why I was on those teams before and why I've played on teams with them before tonight, and I know it's got to be heartbreaking for them, but it was nice to see them all still playing in leagues.
Definitely.
I miss JJ. JJ, come back.
Well, I mean, you can always add him to your roster here. No rules against that. Just make sure you do it before Wednesday roster lock. That's
Ooh.
sad that you got dumped. Maybe after you win the chip, you can rub it in his face again.
Oh,
True.
Definitely.
Now, this is only week 3, so it's like, the second week effectively for Demacia. So you guys have still plenty of teams to play. Are you guys familiar with the teams, and is there any team that you guys are particularly looking forward to playing in this division?
Imagine Wagons so I could poop on them.
Honestly, I haven't even fully looked to see who's in our division. I saw who we were playing tonight, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know those people. And that was about it. And other than that, I haven't really looked at any of the teams. And you know what? When it comes down to it, I'll look at it when I get there. I think that's kind of in our mentality.
Fair enough. That's definitely fits the way you guys play the game. So congratulations to you guys. Well played on your series. And before we move on, is there anything you'd like to say to the chat and the viewers here?
SFAD finally got freed.
My face wins Garner ban. My face wins Yumi ban. Yumi got scrapped this patch, in case no one has realized. But I mean, I invite you guys to keep banning Yumi against me. I don't care.
How come they didn't ban my Kindred though?
I don't know. They didn't want to fight QSSs against it.
I mean,
just saving it for next round.
It's not like you picked the Kindred game too anyway, so they didn't really need to ban it.
But what if I wanted to?
we really wanted to pick Mordekaiser top just just to force QSS picks again. But ended up still getting banned, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, that is one of Shapiro's most played champions, so I think it's a
Well,
very fair ban there. And that
all
way,
those
like you
points are
said, they
pretty
can
much on
avoid
old
taxes.
board.
Did any of them even properly use QSS? Like, that's like not even flaming. I'm like just generally wondering because like I would
No,
just
I
see
think they
them
already
randomly
carried it.
QS. Like they just randomly like QSS. I'm like, what are they doing?
I know their AD carry QSS one of my Morgana binds game 1. No,
Oh.
wait, their AD carried it in by Q. It was Kane then. It was Kane. Because he was the one who had QSS first.
That game was scary.
After
It
I
one shot
shared-
me mid lane, bro. I was like, what the hell? Where did I go?
I just enjoyed the fact that it was AP Skarner top. It wasn't even a tank build, in case no one realized.
Yeah, no, we did comment on that, the fact that it was AP rather than tank. So, but still, I mean, it worked. So sometimes cheese works well. So teams will have to pay attention to that. Either figure something out around it or just ban it out like they did here. And we now know that for SFAD, they're a team that likes to make you pay taxes. So them QSSs will come in real handy against them. And with that, we are going to end the interview section here. Thanks for joining us, guys.
I love you all.
And you'll see more of them, I'm sure, throughout the rest of the split here. So thank you guys for popping in. And with that, that is the end of the series here. SF80 sweeping that really one-sidedly in a 2-0. Well, I shouldn't say one-sidedly because that was an absolute bloodbath here. So Luna, what are your thoughts after those two games?
I will say that game 2 definitely ended up being a lot more one-sided than game 1. Especially with that last team fight. Like, that last team fight was just a slaughter.
Yeah, I thought it was just really weird. Like, it was Prismatic winning that fight on paper for the longest time. They were winning the fights, and yet somehow SF80 was just up in gold. And then next thing we know, towards the end, suddenly it's like they just turned on and they were just running through Prismatic there. Like, even now, I'm just thinking back, I'm still finding it hard to wrap my head around how that game sort of ended.
Right. I think a lot of it helps with Shapiro being able to come online with Singe to be able to help slow the enemy team and get things set up with the disruption from the glue puddles. On top of the fact that the Volibear, just like, although he got the rework, he's still true to the core of the champion, to where you still pretty much can build full tank and just burst people out of nowhere. It is disgusting.
Yeah, and one thing though is that we didn't see the Stormbringer used to its full potential. Finny didn't really dive the turrets, then wreck those turrets with his ultimate there. And I think so far the only volley we've seen really take advantage of that was Chef Boy on, I believe it was Exnol when they played last week. I think he's the only one to really take advantage of that Volibear passive thus far. So I am looking forward to teams getting more and more used to playing this Volibear because I think he's a really, really strong pick.
Oh, for sure. Like the new Volibear pick, or the new kit is like, I haven't got to play it yet, but it looks super fun. I feel like it's a lot more interactive and a lot more fun looking to play than what the old one was, where it's just like, oh, I'm going to run in, now I flip you over my shoulder like I'm singed. Okay, I bite your face off and now you're dead. That's boring. This is like, out of nowhere, you have this huge-ass bear that's just like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, seeing that giant bear jump out of the jungle like that, all of a sudden you got a brick in your pants.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what Finny did this game too. We saw him aggressively just ganking those lanes. And he looked ferocious coming up the jungle. And the damage he put down too, considering he was building tank volley on some of those early game ganks, it was disgusting the damage he put out.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and I know that Heel Slowet was saying that with there was some Yuumi nerfs here, but I don't realistically know if that's true. Like, I feel like Yumi's still a really strong champion, and given her history with that champion, I feel like having that Yuumi is still extremely, extremely strong. And I still don't think teams should be letting it through against her.
I could agree with that. I'm not sure if Yumi got a nerf at all in the last patch or not, but I wouldn't rule it out.
For sure. So we'll have to see how what happens going forward. And yeah, so well played by SF80 tonight. They're continuing their win streak from the spring split, looking like a strong contender still for that first spot here in the Demacian division. And yeah, I mean, with that, I think we're pretty much done for the night. Anything else to add, Luna?
No, they were a great couple of games. I'm looking forward to see how all the other games went for the evening. And as always, just everyone stay safe because they're still pretty crazy out in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, still just remember that even though things have improved, COVID is still an issue. So please take care of yourselves and those around you. And now, in terms of games, we will be streaming the Silver Games tomorrow at 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be Pendulum versus Roar Yordos at 1 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Glacial Academy versus Hype Esports at 5 Eastern tomorrow. And then we will be continuing on with the Demacian League on Monday. War Mother's Children versus DOV Chaos is going to be the 1 p.m. Eastern game. Glacial Omen versus Imagine Wagon is going to be the 5 p.m. Eastern game. On Tuesday, we will switch over to Noxus, and it will be MG Nitro versus DOV Nightfall for the afternoon. 7 Men versus Xnull in the evening, and we will have another block on Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be Glacial Inferno versus Vengeful Reapers to round off the Noxus division. And that is everything from us. So from everybody here at Coalition League, thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Sorry there was no Penta skin tonight. Go blame the teams. And we'll see you guys around throughout the week or next week. Thanks for tuning in.